Man, what a failure Matrix 4 was. First, Niobe explains everything, then Neil Patrick Harris explains everything, then Sati explains everything. Man, wasn't the point of storytelling to show and not tell? Why does the movie treat us like we are really dumb? There was no room for imagination because we are told what to think the whole time. We are told what the Matrix is the whole time. Remember the first movies? We're wondering, we're debating about what the Matrix is. The conflict between Niobe and Bugs is empty. I mean, one of the main reasons why you wanted to escape the Matrix was to join this rave. I mean, who doesn't want to be part of this awesome rave? It's the pure essence of humanity where we can dance and we can be free as possible. I mean, it seems way more anarchic and democratic in this scene rather than going to join Niobe's IO, this precious solar punk utopia that is trying to replace the cyberpunk theme. Probably the most interesting discussion to be had about the new Matrix movie isn't the fact that they kind of changed the placebo effect of the blue pill and made it an active numbifying agent. But the actual interesting debate here is actually between Zion and Io. Zion as being this kind of cyberpunk post-apocalyptic place that could be a matrix within itself. And Io almost kind of confirms that there is kind of a matrix within a matrix. Io doesn't seem like a perfect place, it just seems like kind of an authoritarian solar punk place. At one point, Niobe even says explicitly that Zion was stuck in a matrix of its own, stuck in war. If Io and Zion are both matrices within themselves, then that would mean that the sentient beings within those realms, or within Io at least, are part of the ruse, or they are themselves brainwashed beings as well. Morpheus just is terrible,
etc., etc., blah, blah, blah.
Because you were working with the machines from the beginning.
I have no emotional investment in Kujaku. Why couldn't they use one of the sentient beings that they created in Animatrix? That would have been interesting. Perhaps there's a backstory for Kujaku? Damn. There isn't. They nerfed Neo. Why did they nerf Neo? I guess the idea was that they were going to give Trinity more power, or they're going to be more trans friendly and give the white man less power. But if so, then why was the whole movie centered around heteropatriarchal relationship between Neo and Trinity? I say specifically heteropatriarchal because Neo is willing to always risk absolutely everything and his life and even the world itself on the love for Trinity. Kind of a toxic masculinity, don't you think? I guess overall the movie has one interesting thing to say about the role of how psychology and psychiatrists and therapy today prop up the system. But if you're interested in that, since there's not really much to go by in the movie with regards to Neil Patrick Harris, I recommend that you watch my video series criticizing psychology in my various videos regarding the paranoia of a conflict of the faculties in the university, and as well the neoliberal colonialism of the psychologists. I guess overall, the movie is basically a failed Inception.
Whoa. Are you okay?
But I know how to save this movie. I think that at the end of the movie, we realize, just as we realized in Matrix 2, that the Matrix is actually outside of the Matrix itself. I think that that's how we can save the movie. We could realize that this whole thing was just another Matrix. And that's why the movie has such a colorful and airy tone to it, because even outside the Matrix, there's just another Matrix.
You see, the beautiful thing about the Matrix wasn't the fact that the Matrix even existed, or how it came to be, or the prophecy, or the Renaissance, or any of that. The beauty of the Matrix is the fact that Neo has powers outside the Matrix, meaning that one can never really leave the Matrix because one will always be enslaved. So there is no functional difference between Morpheus, the idealistic believer of freedom and the prophecy, and Cypher, the nihilist who chooses to enslave himself in the newest version of the Matrix, in that scene, for example, where he is eating that steak and he knows it's fake, but he decides to choose that Matrix regardless. There's no difference between them because both are choosing only one Matrix over the other. See, there is only one type of revolution, and that's the ongoing revolution. To take a third pill, to see reality through the dream, rather than attempting at some sort of reality in itself. You see, the system has grown from the industrialization of the human body and its environment, where Napoleon tied the shoelaces of his pawns to make them into one unitary soldier, while creating grid-like streets, designated riot areas to thwart future possible French revolutions, to the modern biopolitical superstructure of monetary dependence, propagandic schools, healthcare systems, mass surveillance and drone warfare, World Bank schemes, the financial system, etc. These systems have had many decades to develop and become as sophisticated and evolved as they are. They are created to root out any resistance which may be of any threat, or it perceives to be of any threat to its existence.
Now, if that theory doesn't come true, the money-grabbing, milk it for all it's got second trilogy of Matrix 5 and 6, I don't really know how to put Matrix 4 into the canon. I think that Matrix 2 can save Matrix 4.